this one day gives you an excuse to go do something or start doing something that's really good for our planet, then that's great. And then, but you should try to keep that up, build a habit with that. You know, we say if you do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit, right? So, what else are you guys doing? Noah.
Picking up trash.
Picking up trash. I love it. I love it. Tommy.
We're going to be picking up trash when we ride our bikes.
Good. Going for a bike ride, going outside and picking up trash. Very nice. I love it. And riding your bike. In a lot of other states, in here where we live, everything's a little bit, it's more rural, so things are more spread apart. But in a lot of other places, people commute by riding bikes or by walking, and it saves a lot on pollution. Miss Abby, what are you doing today for Earth Day?
Earth Day.
Okay, if you think of something, let me know later. It's good to see you though, Abby. Anyone else? Everett?
Doing my schoolwork.
Doing your schoolwork, you know, and maybe doing some of your schoolwork might not help. Maybe you have schoolwork that has to do with Earth Day. But when we educate ourselves, that helps a lot. And a lot of your teachers right now are doing things. I know like Tegan had a scavenger hunt for Earth Day or things like that. So a lot of that kind of stuff, educating yourself. Miss Jaden, what are you doing to help our planet today?
You know, like I could like, if I could go like on a bike, not a bike, a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I ever seen a hurt animal, I could always, you know, like you can't just leave it there because then it would rot, and it would help the soil, but it's also hurting nature sometimes, maybe.
Yeah, so you could help animals if you see them in need. Absolutely. Miss Kalia, what are you doing for Earth Day today?
Maybe letting my animals out to let them roam and eat stuff through our backyard.
There you go. Okay. Jonathan, what are you doing for Earth Day today?
Can you hear me?
I can. Yes, sir.
Yeah, today for Earth Day, I'm going to water the garden.
You're going to water your garden. Good. Very good. Okay. So good morning, Miss Leah. Miss Leah is on here. It's so good to see you. Oh my goodness. So I am going to do a couple quick announcements for everybody and then give everyone a couple minutes to get on. And then I know everyone's really excited to hear from you. So I'm going to do these things really quickly because I'm excited to talk to you too. Okay. So just so everyone knows, we are doing our test, our belt test virtually, still on May 2nd. Tigers and Dragons, it's Friday, May 1st or Saturday, May 2nd. The 1 week prior, we will reach out to everyone who is pre-tested and give you your testing time, and that's going to be on Zoom, and we'll give you those details. Make sure you're doing your written test and writing your paragraph and getting that submitted as soon as possible. Let's see. Who wants to share? I'll let 3 people share. What did you learn about leadership yesterday from Mr. David, which is actually Miss Leah's little brother? I don't know if you knew that, but he was on yesterday and spoke with us and he did a very good job. What did you guys learn yesterday? Who wants to share something? One thing they learned about leadership. Skylar.
That good leaders
Oh, you froze, Skylar. One thing Mr. David talked about and Mr. Gourlay talked about is that good leaders have confidence, right? And I kind of sounded like that was what she was going to say. Noah, what's one thing you learned? Go ahead and unmute yourself, bud. Okay. What's one thing you learned about leadership so far?
That leaders never give up.
Leaders never give up. Absolutely. And one thing Mr. David talked about is that you can accomplish anything if you set your mind to it and you prioritize and you work hard, right? And one more person who wants to share one thing they learned about leadership so far. Landon.
Manage your time.
Managing your time is very, very important. Very good. Okay. Let's see, stars. Last thing we'll do before I let Miss Leah take over is who has character building sheets to turn in? Go ahead and hold them up if you have some character building sheets. Miss Kathy, how many did you have today?
I have 15 today.
Awesome, good job. Which ones are they?
Character building sheets 1 through 5. And then I have 7, which is one of those 7-star sheets.
Awesome.
I have the character building number 1 companion, which is a 2-star sheet. And then I have the karate homework sheet.
Very nice. Good. Everyone clap for Miss Kathy. Good job. 15 stars. Wow. All right. Who else has some? Everett. How many stars do you have today, Everett?
I have one.
Okay. Which one is it?
It's the book club sheet.
Very good. Clap for Everett. Good job, Everett. And so Miss Leah, you probably remember, I know when we were GUP students, we had, I think, 4 character building sheets. So we now have about 15 of them. They're all working on developing different things, self-discipline, leadership, all different kinds of stuff. Let's see, Landon, how many do you have?
3. The building board character 3, 5, and self-discipline sheet.
Very nice. Clap for Landon. Good job, Landon. Oh, Mr. Hudnut's on here. Hello, Mr. Hudnut. All right, Miss Katie, how many do you have?
I have 14.
Awesome. Which ones are they?
2 through 6. And then karate homework, self-discipline sheet, and healthy eating.
Very nice. Everyone clap for Miss Katie.
Thank
Good
you.
job. Good job. All right, Harley and Corbin. Oop, where'd your video just go? How many do you guys have?
We have 8 each, and we have the building a character and the black belt sheet.
Very nice. Let's clap for Harley and Corbin. Good job, you guys. All right, Mr. Caleb, how many do you have?
I have 1, and I did the building good character number 30.
Very good. Let's clap for Caleb. Good job, Caleb. Very nice. All right, Miss Aubrey, how many do you have today? Oh, it won't let me unmute you. I need you to unmute yourself, my dear, and then let me know how many you have. And is that it? Anybody else have stars today? I think that's it.
Right.
Hi, Master Lappin. Okay, Miss Austin, how many do you have? 7?
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Which ones did you do, my dear? Do you want to hold them up and let me see? Good. Okay, you have the one that's every day of the week. Very nice. Let's clap for Aubrey. Good job. Okay, good job, you guys. Very nice. So I think Master Lappin wants to say something before I introduce Miss Leah. Master Lappin, did you want to say something? You are muted.
Okay, I just wanted to say I'm really proud of Katie. Even though she is an instructor, she is always setting the example by doing those sheets and doing all the things with you. And you know what? That's what leaders do. Leaders set the example. I'm right now reading a book, I don't know, wealth, how you become a millionaire, the traits of millionaires or something. Always reading and growing and learning. So we all do it. So we're not just telling you to do something, but we're doing it with you because that's how we learn and grow and improve. And I think with that in mind, I will let you introduce Leah, but you guys are going to love Leah. She is an amazing, successful young lady. And I haven't seen her in probably about a year now, but she was one of our students. Very, very good. Amazing. Yeah, martial artist and leader and everything else. So Rachel will tell you a little bit about her, or maybe she'll tell you a little bit about herself, but I'm looking forward to seeing her.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys know how I always talk about how, when we have buddy days, I really encourage you to bring in a buddy or to train with your family or things like that, and how important it is to have a person to train with. I know when I was like testing for my first degree, Leah was that person. She was my training buddy. She was always my partner. She's probably my favorite competitor. she's like one of the, there are not very many places where you can kick each other in the face and then hug each other afterwards. And not very many places where you build a bond like that. But Leah was that person. We competed with each other for years. She's an amazing martial artist and an amazing leader. She earned her first degree black belt with us. She did continue her training after that as well. She went to Middleburg High School, and what year did you graduate, Leah?
I graduated in 2014.
2014, and you were valedictorian, right?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, which is not, so she's very humble about that, but that's very impressive. And she went to Annapolis Naval Academy. I know we talked to her little brother, David, who's about to graduate from there, but she graduated from Annapolis a couple of years ago. And now she is stationed are you stationed in Norfolk?
I am.
Yeah. And so I'm going to go ahead and let her talk to you guys. Is there anything that I missed or anything that you want to talk about in your career so far and your education so far?
No, I think you totally covered it. That's great.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead then and ask her a couple of questions and then let her say anything else that she would like to you guys about leadership. And then if she's okay with it, maybe you guys can ask her a couple questions at the end. So my first question, Miss Leah, is how did the black belt leadership training here at Middleburg Martial Arts help you while you were in school?
So while I was in school, doing the black belt program, I think instilled that initial sense of discipline that I needed in order to flourish now as an adult. Of course, anyone who knows my mom, I know the Lappin family, you guys know Mama Ayers, but she was very strict, and martial arts was a heavy part of our daily routine. And right after school, we do our homework, and then we come to Middleburg Martial Arts. We train all evening and come home, finish homework, go to bed, next day repeat. And I actually really loved that rhythm. It kind of got me into almost like a battle rhythm that I end up, utilizing in the Navy as a 24-year-old. So, starting back in 2003 is when we started at Middleburg Martial Arts. It's hard to believe it's been that long.
Crazy.
But yeah, the black belt program, I would absolutely not be where I'm at if I didn't have that as growing up into my young years.
Awesome. And how did it help you? How would you say it helped you out of school? So I guess at Annapolis or where you are today.
Oh yeah. So outside of school, the number of times that I've taught classes and proctored tests and went to tournaments, that really, I'm sure, Mr. Gourlay and David talked about it, but confidence, just having the ability to stand up in front of a group of people and present yourself with, some sort of authority is kind of intimidating at first. And I know that when I was younger, I maybe didn't understand the implications of standing in front of a group of people. But now, as a division officer in the Navy, I stand in front of a group of people every day. And oftentimes they're older than me. They've been in the Navy much longer, and they're looking to me for leadership and guidance. So outside of just schooling and having that discipline, I gained the confidence to stand up in front of a group of people and hold my head up high and say something that has meaning and impacts them in a positive way.
That's huge. Awesome. Okay. And what would you say is the most important thing that you benefited from your black belt leadership training?
The most important thing, I think, is understanding the importance of practice, because you can't do anything in life without practice. You can't even cook, you can't do art, literally anything, not even just martial arts, homework even, you can't do it without practice. So having that daily ritual of showing up, participating, and even practicing at home, especially with my brothers, that is what really pushed it over the edge in a very good way. To help, solidify the training we got in the studio. Practice. And practice also makes a leader, because you have to be genuine about how you approach things. And if you haven't practiced how to do that, you won't be able to achieve that. So practice.
Good. And that's very true. Right now, we are doing all of our karate classes virtually, which is interesting and new, but it's been fun. And I think has for the families, the kids that don't have a parent. A lot of our parents are similar to your mom and do practice, but for the families that don't, for the kids that don't have a mom making them practice right now, a lot of you guys are getting an opportunity to learn how to practice at home because you're kind of being forced to train at home. So this is a really good opportunity to build some really good practice habits that will help you be successful, just like everybody that we've talked to so far this week and that we're going to continue to talk to us has mentioned that, putting in the hard work. Miss Leah is talking about practicing. All of those things are really important. So you guys are developing some good habits now. Okay, my last question for you. What would you tell a student or parent who is considering making the commitment to Black Belt leadership training? And we have about 60 kids on here today and adults, and 60 different families on here. And a lot of them are actually in our leadership program. So they've made the commitment to Black Belt. They've set that goal. They are in that training program. We do have some students who are considering it still, who are still working towards building that. But what advice would you give those guys?
Honestly, I would absolutely do it. Absolutely go for it. If there's one thing, a favor that you do for yourself is commit to becoming a Black Belt, because you have a tangible thing that you can reach, you can achieve your goal. And not only do you get this, thing that you put around your waist, but you get a sense of pride, which also boosts your confidence and competence. You set an example, because when you wear that, if you walk into a studio and you're wearing your Black Belt, people know, okay, this person has put in the work. They have put in the practice, they have put in the hours, the days, the blood, sweat, and tears to achieve something. Becoming a Black Belt, and I got up to second degree with the World Tong Soo Association. It helped me thrive. I know that sounds kind of dramatic, but martial arts absolutely shaped who I am. And the bond you make with other people who have also achieved the same goal, it's a form of networking, and you form unbreakable friendships. Miss Rachel and I have been friends for over a decade, which is wild. And I think it's all due in part to the fact that we trained together, we became Black Belts together.
Absolutely. I love
So definitely commit, in my opinion. I absolutely would not do anything different.
I think that's huge too. She talked about commitment with that. She went straight to commitment with that. And of us who have achieved Black Belt know what a commitment is. And I know for you guys who have joined leadership or who we've talked to about joining leadership, one of the first things that I say, Luca in here, I just had a conversation with him because he joined leadership last week. And one of the first initial conversations is, do you understand what this commitment is? What does it mean to be in leadership? What does it mean to act like a leader? What does it mean if you set this goal, are you going to give up? And having that conversation is really important. A lot of what I wanted to just drive that home, that she talked about commitment and being a leader. I think you could probably attest for that too. There takes a lot of commitment in that whatever group you're going to lead, you have to be fully committed. People aren't going to follow you if they have a sense that you're like hesitant about something or that you're not sure that you should do something. They're all going to feel that and they're not going to follow you. You're not going to have any followers if you're not committed to what you're asking them to do. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Good. Well,
that's
sorry.
go ahead.
Master Lappin, did you want to say anything?
No, nothing except for to let Leah know that we use her as a role model, as an example all the time. And Leah, you probably don't know this. I told David the same thing. Your pictures, your Black Belt pictures are still up there and you're so young. It's so cute though. And when I do tours of the studio, next time you come into the studio, stop in and look. But when I do tours of the studio, I point to some of our Black Belts and I say, this one did this one did that, this one did this. And I just want to thank you and your family for being such awesome role models, because I mean, you guys are just amazing. What you've accomplished in your life already at 24 years old is more than most people will ever accomplish in their life. And I know the future is going to even be brighter for you and you're just going to do amazing things. What are some of your goals, Leah?
So one of my personal goals right now is to, during this time, at least maintain my health. So I have been trying to reach a step goal every single day, which I've set at 10,000 steps, just little things that I can accomplish. And then bigger, I guess more kind of outside the martial arts realm, my husband and I are looking to buy a house. So when he gets back from deployment, we are going to start looking around here in Virginia.
Oh, good for you. And is he in the service as well?
He is, yeah, he's in the Navy as well.
And how long have you been married?
We got officially married this past January, but we've been together for 2 years.
Wow, congratulations. Good for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's awesome. And thank you so much for being on here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for asking, honestly, because I thought you guys forgot about us, but I guess not.
No, seriously, I mean, you were part of Middleburg Martial Arts for a very, very long time. I have very fond memories of all the things we did and how much your mom always pushed you. But you know what? That's why you guys are who you are. That's why, I mean, she did an excellent job with all of you guys.
She still does.
Yeah, you should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you so much.
I think that, you guys were a big part of shaping our leadership program to what it is now. Because it was, when we were all about first degrees is when we first implemented what now is called our leadership program. But I think we called it Black Belt, our Black Belt
Club. Yeah.
So I called it both when asking these questions and talking to everybody so they know what I'm talking about. And everybody on the call knows too. Okay, so I will go ahead and open it up. Does anyone want to ask Miss Leah any questions? Olivia, are you raised? Nope. Okay. Is that Mr. Nathaniel? What do you want to ask Miss Leah? Do you remember your question, Nathaniel? No. Okay. If you think of it, just let me know. Does anyone else have any other questions for Miss Leah? Caleb.
How old was she when she got her black belt?
Great question. I was in the 5th grade when I got my first degree black belt. So let's see. I think I was 10 years old, actually, which was the minimum age at the time to achieve your black belt. Miss Rachel, is that still the case?
It is, yeah. They do have an exception in place that you have to be a member of the World Tong Soo Do Association and training for a certain number of years. And then
4 years.
4 years. So like we could have somebody because we have some students start at 4 years old. So technically the youngest you could be is 8, but we haven't had anybody achieve that at 8. But I think 10 is probably the youngest we've had anybody. I think you and your brother and a few others. We have a few on here that are who here? Raise your hand if you are going to be 10 years old at your goal, black belt date goal. Caleb, are you going to be 11? Benjamin, how old?
11.
11. How old will you be with your goal black belt date? He's thinking about it.
He should be 10 or 11.
That's what I'm thinking. He would be one that.
How old was Cora?
Cora was 10. So we have quite a few that have gotten it at 10. I don't think anyone has gotten it, but you technically can now. All right.
Nine is the youngest you can get it with 4 years.
Okay. Skylar, do you have a question for Miss Leah?
I was 16.
When I get my black belt, I'm gonna be 11 because my black belt date was supposed to be 2025 spring.
Good. And I bet you're going to keep that goal date. Very good. All right. Who else has questions for Miss Leah? Miss Nicole?
What would you tell a student who's still not fully mentally committed to black belt? What could you do to encourage that?
To encourage for mental encouragement. So if someone is having kind of like a mental block to it, maybe they're not fully invested in the program, I would think, depending on who the individual is, you can work with either the kind of approach where it's like more rewarding. You can give them smaller short-term goals to work towards and then reward them once they reach those goals. That's very much a transactional kind of approach, which you can do. But if that fades away, I think that my brother and I and some other people in the program in the past are kind of testaments to what you can achieve once you fully commit to it. And having your heart in it is everything. If you can't fully invest in it, it'll be really difficult, kind of like dragging your knuckles on the ground when you're walking. But it's absolutely worth it. And, gentle encouragement and, practice, just, it makes perfect, especially when you can reap the benefits of what you've been going through every single day. I hope that helps a little bit.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, any other, Miss Becky, you have a question?
But I don't have a question, but I just want to say it's really nice to put a face because we've heard so much about you. And like Master Lappin said, you are one of the main people that we talk about all the time, you and your brother. So thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I cannot wait to come back home to Florida and stop by the studio, meet you guys in person.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
We need to have like a reunion class with all the oldies.
Yeah, Miss Ann has been on these Matt chats every day, and I posted something about when I first introduced it on a post. She was like, "So basically, like a virtual reunion," and I was like, "Yeah, it kind of is."
Wait, Miss Ann Bono? Miss Bono?
I
Oh my gosh!
Day, I don't know if she's on here.
She's not. She told me she couldn't be on this week. She had a work meeting. She's going for her master's degree, Leah.
She is.
That's amazing.
She already went to master's camp last year, and she was supposed to go this year, but it was rescheduled. But you would be surprised and amazed. Well, maybe not surprised, but amazed by how many of the people that you and Rachel trained with are very, very successful. All the ones that were in that leadership program and that got black belts. I mean, it just, I don't know, but we have such a group of very, very successful people. We have like 2 weeks of people that are going to be on here. And then we have to go into the third week because we have more people. Everyone that we've asked has agreed to do it. And they're all, go ahead. And they're all totally successful. It's just like, wow, what? And this is what our students need to see, because you guys are kind of like the future, the products of what they're going to be if they keep training and they keep developing this discipline and these leadership skills and this confidence. They're going to do amazing things too. So I like for them to see people that actually have done it.
Yeah. All right, I have a few more questions. Mr. Caleb Ricks, go ahead and ask your question, bud.
What was it like to get your black belt?
Oh man, getting my black belt was one of the most satisfying feelings I ever had. I trained a lot. I practiced a lot with it. My next door neighbor, actually, I remember Mr. Louise, him and I tested on the same day, and him and I, at the end of the test, both got awarded best tester. I was for under 18 and he was for over 18. And at the celebration ceremony we had at the studio, we had a big black belt cake, and him and I got to cut it with a sword. And just having everyone that I loved. And you still do that? Oh, that's awesome. That is so awesome. But having that, feeling of camaraderie and fellowship with all the people who I worked so hard and sweated alongside and celebrating with me, it was just amazing. And the Lappin family, like you guys, absolutely just made us feel so special and trained us to the max, obviously, because two of us because it wasn't just Middleburg Martial Arts training or testing for the black belt, it was from multiple schools within WTSDA. So the fact that two, from the home team won the overall best tester, I think that is a huge testament to the black belt program that you guys have.
Thank you.
All right, Mackenzie, what is your question?
How old were you when you first got into karate?
So Mackenzie, when I first joined, I was 4 years old, and I started doing Taekwondo in California with my family over there. And then when we eventually moved to Florida, I switched over to Tangsudo, and I started training there when I was 7 at Middleburg Martial Arts. So I've been training on and off now for about 20 years. That makes me feel really old.
All right, and I think I have one more question. If you have a question, raise your hand up so I can see. I think Miss Jasmine has a question, and then Kingston, and I think that's it. So go ahead, Miss Jasmine.
I don't really have a question. I just wanted to say hi, Miss Leah.
Hi,
I haven't
Jasmine.
seen you in forever, and I wanted to show you. This is my little guy.
Oh, she just had a baby. His name is Ezekiel, and he's the cutest thing.
He's almost 3 months old, so I just wanted to say hi. And I've been listening. You're doing awesome. Congratulations. And
It's so good to see you, and congratulations on your baby.
thank you.
You know, I still have pictures of the three of you. I have a picture of the three, you, Rachel,
Yes.
and Jasmine holding the big trophy. It was so cool. And I don't remember all the details, but that I still look at that picture and think, gosh, those were the days.
Yeah, there's some
Oh,
classic
man, I
pictures
remember
of
that.
the three of us back in the day. Some good ones. All right, Kingston, what is your question?
I don't have a question, but Clayton does.
Okay, Clayton, what is your question?
How old is Miss Leah?
I am 24.
And she's an officer in the military, which is pretty amazing. Leah, can you tell people what it's like to get into Annapolis Naval Academy, never mind getting in, but then graduating from it? Can you give them just a brief overview of that?
Absolutely. So going to the Naval Academy was a goal of mine that I had set when I was in 8th grade, which seems really young to be thinking about college, but it was what I wanted to do, and I knew I wanted to achieve it. So, you know, getting in and then going through the 4 years, it was a very humbling experience. Being, you know, from Middleburg, it's kind of a smaller town. Miss Rachel kind of mentioned, you know, I was valedictorian at my high school, and, you know, my family and I, we were really competitive at Middleburg Martial Arts. So I was very used to being told like, oh, you're the best, like you're doing such a great job. And then, you know, I got my first like bad grade ever in my entire life at the Naval Academy. So the biggest thing I think I took away from that experience, for 4 years, I had to be resilient in a way that I never had to be before, because I was not used to seeing failure. But I think that in order for you to be a good leader, you have to understand what it feels like to fail. Because if you're constantly achieving and you're constantly, you know, winning, coming out on top, no one's going to be able to relate to you, and you can't, you know, empathize with the people that you are trying to build up. So, you know, 4 years of hardships in, you know, the sense that the academics were like nothing I'd ever experienced. Then the physical demand, testing with our physical readiness tests, we do that twice a year. And they have higher standards than they do in the fleet. So we had to run faster, do more push-ups, do more sit-ups, just to get through the day. It was very rigorous, but also that commissioning day, I got to shake the president's hand and, you know, hold up my diploma high and render my first salute to my dad, actually, and Mr. David. So that was incredible. Very hard, but absolutely worth it. And again, I could have absolutely not gotten there had I not had the initial discipline and training as a child, starting out at Middleburg Martial Arts, to get me to achieve my goal. Like everything comes back to that common denominator. And you'll see that once all of you guys start talking to the rest of the guest speakers. Middleburg Martial Arts, you know, shaped my life. So thank you.
You don't know what that means to me, Leah. It makes me almost want to cry. So thank you.
All right, Jonathan has a question. Go ahead, Mr. Jonathan.
So when did you get into the military?
So I got accepted my senior year of high school to go to the Naval Academy. And then right after I graduated, it was about a month after I graduated high school, I reported to the Naval Academy. So I've been in the Navy since 2014. So about 6 years now.
Awesome. Okay. I think that's okay. One more question.
I love this. I love it.
I know they love you too. They're asking you more questions than they have anybody else. Go ahead.
Hi, Miss Leah. It's been forever since I've seen you. I just wanted to say thank you. I remember sparring against you, and I think you and Miss Rachel, Miss Jasmine were the ones that made me the competitive person I am, because going against you, I'm like, oh man, I had to go against Miss Leah. Like, so thank you. And like, it's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you too. It's been some years. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Katie's a cool story. She left and then she came back and got her black belt, and she is an amazing role model and inspiration to our students. And she's
That's
so
fantastic.
kind and caring to each and every one of them. So we're lucky to have her still with us.
Thank you.
I do want to say one more thing to what Miss Leah said when she was talking about her time at Annapolis. You know, I've said to a lot of you guys that when you go through a time where you want to give up or where you want to quit for whatever reason, and you learn to overcome that, you learn so much more. I've said that, and probably I think about 80% of people by the time they get to black belt, they have something. Either they're getting discouraged, their best friend moves away, or they're struggling to learn a form, or
Miss Rachel, I think you froze.
She did freeze. I'll take over until she's back on. But I think what she's saying is really what Leah said as well, which is how important it is to be able to deal with failure and rejection, and being like Miss Ayers said, being resilient and being able to pick yourself back up, brush yourself off, and keep going, because that's what makes winners. Winners and leaders are people that it's not that they never fail, but when they fail or they make a mistake or whatever, they learn from it and they go on instead of becoming resentful or negative or making excuses. Who's seen people make excuses when things go wrong? You know, like, oh, well, I failed that test because the teacher's bad. She didn't teach right. Those kinds of things. Rachel, you back on?
I am. Yeah, my computer just shut off. I don't know why. So I'm on my phone now. But yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say is anywhere you go, when you make a commitment and you follow through with it, and it does get hard, it does get challenging, you do get discouraged, you learn so much from that. And so I think that's something really important to keep in mind for those students. I know I'm sure with over 60 people on here, we have one or two people who are probably struggling with whatever, with virtual schooling, with virtual training, with karate, whatever else you have going on right now. And just remember that when you make it through this, you are learning so much more from that. And I wanted to take a second to thank you again, Leah. It is so good to see you. I wish I could give you a hug right now, but I can't. But I really, really appreciate you coming on here and sharing some of your wisdom with everybody. So thank you.
Thank you for thinking of me. I really appreciate it. I miss you guys so much.
We miss you too. And everybody go ahead and unmute yourself and say Kamapsumida to Miss Leah. Tell her thank you.
Kamapsumida. Thank you for being here.
Thank you guys.
Say bye.
Okay.
Kamapsumida.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.